Hello, friends, and welcome to Friends in Fiction, four New York Times bestselling authors' endless stories. I'm Kristin Harmel, and on behalf of all four authors of Friends in Fiction, including Kristy Woodson Harvey, Mary Kay Andrews, and Patti Callahan Henry, I'm excited to welcome you to a special episode of Friends in Fiction Behind the Book, a quick deep dive into the life and work of some of our favorite authors. So today we are so happy to welcome our friends Christina Hobbs and Lauren Billings, who together form the unstoppable writing duo known as Christina Lauren. They are published in more than 30 languages, have received multiple starred reviews and many awards, and have been featured in publications including Forbes, The Atlantic, The Washington Post, Time, Entertainment Weekly, People, O Magazine, and more. Now, Lauren Billings, who goes by Lo, received her doctorate in neuroscience from UC Irvine. And before she started living the dream as a full-time writer, she spent her days researching neurodegeneration in aging. She lives in California with two cuddly dogs, two less cuddly teenagers, and one mountain biking, home brewing scientist husband. Christina Hobbs, who goes by PQ, used to spend her days in a junior high counseling office surrounded by teenagers. These days, you could find her at her desk, writing or watching BTS videos. She lives in Utah with her husband and daughter, thinks she is the luckiest person in the world to write books with her best friend, and is an unapologetic lover of boy bands and glitter. Together, they have written many books you know and love, including Roomies, Love and Other Words, Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, The Unhoneymooners, In a Holidays, The Soulmate Equation, and Something Wilder. Their latest out this week is The Paradise Problem, and they are joining us for a few minutes today to talk about it. So after that long-winded introduction, let's welcome Christina and and Lauren. I did it.
Hi.
Welcome, you two. Thank you so much for being with us, or with me. I don't know
For
why I'm referring
us.
to myself as the royal we with me.
I love it, though. It's a joint effort.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So, ladies, let's start off today by talking about the Paradise Problem, of which Publishers Weekly says there are just as many emotionally charged moments as sizzling sex scenes, and readers will adore down-to-earth Anna, who's the perfect match for uptight Liam. Readers will be swept away. Can you tell us a little bit about the book and how you came up with the idea?
Absolutely. Hi.
Hi.
So Paradise Problem is the story of two strangers at UCLA, Anna and Liam, and they get married solely for the cheap student housing. So Anna is an art student, and she doesn't read the fine print on the papers that she signs when Liam moves out. So she assumes that they have divorced. So when Liam shows up on her doorstep 3 years later, she is shocked to find out not only that they are still married, but that his family thinks it is a blissful marriage. And it is a lie that he needs to maintain in order to receive his enormous inheritance. So Anna has to go to a family wedding on a private island in Indonesia with Liam. And amid the chaos and the splendor, she must successfully convince these very toxic billionaire people that they are deeply and blissfully in love. And it was honestly so much fun to write. The idea has really morphed a lot since we first started it. Our initial idea was a book that was going to be like a Christmas rom-com about a couple that got divorced, but the husband never told his family, so they have to pretend to be married when he's asked to host Christmas. And for a number of reasons, we just didn't end up writing that book, partly because it was hard to make divorce funny.
Okay.
And so we just decided to have them be married just for a sort of a convenience sake, right? And that she thinks they've divorced, but they actually haven't. And it just sort of rolled out from there. We love writing books that take place in paradise, and it's really funny and fun. So we love it.
Oh, it is such an amazing premise for a book. It's one of those that you hear the description and you think like, I can't wait to see how this plays out on the page. So it's such a brilliant idea. Now, in the Publishers Weekly review, they actually mention your sizzling sex scenes. And I have to ask you something that I've always wondered, because I full disclosure, I write terrible sex scenes. Like they're just like I try and they're bad and they're cringy and I'm uncomfortable with them. But yours are so good. So I'm wondering, is there awkwardness in writing or reading those steamy scenes with a co-author? Because I think it's complicated enough to do it as one person. Does it complicate it to do that together?
No, and I think part of that is because number one, we're not writing them together.
Of course, that I feel like would be weird.
I think that one of the things when we are writing is we are mostly just trying to make the other laugh,
Okay.
make the other blush, make the other text and be like, "Piglet," or, that kind of thing. So it never is. We did at one point try, to write at the same time. We were in, like, a Google Doc together, and we weren't even writing a sex scene, we were just, like, writing a scene where they were, like, across the table talking, and it was so weird. It felt like we were having phone sex or something, like, Flo would write something, and then I would write something in response, and we were just like, "This is weird, it feels icky."
Yeah, no. And I think because we met writing fan fiction and we were both
Yep.
writing pretty saucy fan fiction, that we
Yeah.
knew what we were writing. We loved each other's work. Like there was no sort of squeamishness or weirdness,
Okay.
pearl clutching about
No.
the smut scene. So we just, it was just always something that we really loved to write.
Well, I
It's
love
funny
that.
too when we go through when we're, like, revising each other's, the sex
Yeah.
scenes are usually where there are, like, way fewer comments and changes, and part of that is
That's
because you tend to
funny.
get in, like, a groove when you're doing it, but also there are times
Yeah.
that I'm reading and I go, "Oh, wait, I forgot I was supposed to be revising."
What? That's so funny. Well, and I love what you said, Christina, about making each other blush. Because in a way, when you're writing scenes like that, you are each other's first audience, right? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you're engaged in the book together, but scene by scene, you're
yeah.
writing for each other first, which
I
I
mean,
come to love.
truly, that is one of the greatest benefits of having a co-author is because as
Yeah,
an
that's
author
awesome.
yourself, what you can't help but let the audience's expectations and opinions creep into your
Yeah.
thoughts, and you really have to work to push those out when you're writing.
Yep.
And I think that's true for every author, no matter what anybody says. It's
Right.
hard to forget that, especially if you've already published a book or you've had some measure of success, you want your readers to be happy.
Yep.
And I think what's really nice about having a co-author is I just have I have an audience of one.
That's
And that has always
amazing.
been true. I write for Christina, and I know that her taste matches up with our readers. If she likes it, they'll like it. So it makes it easier.
I love that. Now, speaking of that, I know you've been on Friends in Fiction before, and we've talked about this before. But for readers who haven't seen us talking to you before, can you tell us a little bit about your process and how you write these books together?
I would love to have a very clear answer for this question. The truth is that we have written a book together every way that you can co-write a
I
book.
love
We
that.
have written alternating chapters. We have each taken a point of view and taken a character. We have one of us fast drafts and the other writes a polished draft. We have done it every single way. And part of that is because our life is always changing. We are
That's a good point.
traveling sometimes. We have different things going on with our kids and families. And so, or one of us has a sort of clearer sense of like the characters and, is just going to charge ahead and the other one's going to follow in and polish it. And so I think we have learned in the last, gosh, like 12 years
Yeah.
that, or more, I guess. We've been writing together since 2009. So it's like 15 years.
Oh,
Um, we've learned that we've had to be flexible and that the magic happens when we're together outlining a book and
yeah.
that we always have tons of time together in that document, whether she writes it and I edit it or I write it and she edits or we write together. But yeah, we both just have our hands in the document all the time. And yeah, I think that's sort of how we've learned to just be flexible. We know it's going to turn out something that we're happy with.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's really cool, and it's something I wish I could get my head around doing that. I would love to co-write a book with somebody. We talk about that all the time with the four friends and fiction authors because we get along so well, and it'd be such a fun thing to embark on. But I think it's such a different way of going about things.
It is, and writers are such creatures of habit too. I think
Yes,
it's hard
yeah,
that you get into a system that
yep,
is like your process.
yeah,
And so
very
if you
true.
are already established in your career
Yeah,
and your rhythm,
right.
I think it's hard to kind of line up with somebody and their habits and how they might be
Yeah.
different. But that's not to say it's not worth trying because it is really, really fun.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell Mary Kate Andrews you said that. I think she's the one who's like, "No."
Yeah.
So, all right. Now, smart, vibrant romance about strong, flawed, real women seems to be at the top of everyone's reading list right now. And I honestly cannot think of anyone who does that better than you two. I mean, I've read everything you've written. I think like I love your work. And I love that these books have risen to the top of bestseller lists lately. There is something about that. I think that feels really empowering to me, and it feels like we're in just a really good moment as readers and writers. So can you talk to us a little bit about why you enjoy writing books like this and why you think readers are gravitating so heavily to this type of book right now?
I think that when we're writing characters, we surround ourselves with like
Yeah.
wonderful, strong, smart women, and those just sort of like show up in our books. Like we
Yeah.
always say when we're writing characters, like think of your best friends and how you would describe them. Like those are
Yeah.
the things that make characters feel real. They're like, I want to read a book full of people that I want to be friends with because I'm going to hang out with these people.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I read books with terrible people too, and sometimes that's great. But when it comes to like the heroine and stuff, I want to either like learn something from her or see her like overcome something, or like just think, oh my God, I just want to hang out with this person and
Yep.
be her best friend. And it just makes me so happy that it translates to the page. And also, like Lo and I have this amazing relationship. And
Yeah.
so I have this great model like right next to me of like the person that I admire more than anyone. And so it's just really fun to write those characters into books.
I love that. And I feel like one of the things that has always appealed to me about your books is those strong female characters, but the strong relationships they have, like not just with the men in their lives, but with everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the friendships they have with each other, which I can see that. I can see your friendship at the root of that.
I mean, we always maintain that, because the contract that we have with our readers is that there
Yep.
will be a happily ever after.
Yeah.
But for us, we maintain that happily ever after includes the scaffold of a very supportive community. That it isn't just having the
Yep.
hero and heroine, or the two protagonists end up together at the end. It's that they have this community that supports their relationship, that is there for them in times of crisis.
Yep.
And so for us, that is like a 360-degree view of the happily ever after.
Well, and what I love about that is it's such a great model for life. I mean, that's how we should all be striving to live, right? As part of a larger
Yeah.
community. And it's,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, ladies, it is so great to talk to you about this book. I'm so excited about it coming out. I'm so excited about your tour and all the readers you're going to meet on the road. Can you tell us before we let you go, or tell me, I'm like referring to myself as the royal we. This is a real problem I need to work on. Can you tell all of our readers out there who are watching and listening, where we can find out more about you, where we can follow along with the fun, and where we can find you on tour, or how we can find out about your tour?
Absolutely. So we're mostly on Instagram. That's where we spend most of our social media time, and that's at Christina Lauren. And our website is always kept beautifully up to date by my wonderful co-author, Christina. And that website is ChristinaLaurenBooks.com. And if you want to come see us on tour, we are leaving to go on tour for this book soon. We're super excited. There's a few tickets left at a couple different spots, and that is under the events page on our website.
Yep. Fantastic. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for joining me
Thank
today.
you. We just adore you.
Thank
We
you.
just love seeing you, and say hi to all the
Yeah.
other ladies. We love you all so much.
Well,
Yes.
we love you right back. So thank you so much for saying that. I will definitely pass that along. And to all of you out there, do not forget to tune in every Wednesday night here on Facebook or YouTube for brand new, longer form content about books, authors, and the reading and writing worlds. You can find out everything about the Friends and Fiction universe, including information on our show, our live events, our newsletter, and our book club on our website, friendsandfiction.com. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.